Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today's class is the development of the placenta and also the structure of the placenta. This placenta is an important topic which we will be given for in the practical exams and also in the histology and also in the embryology and also in the models in the anatomy practical exams. So it's this topic can be asked in many parts of the exam, and it's an important and it's also a little bit difficult topic. So we have to follow the steps of the development of the placenta in the correct way, then only you can understand. Those who have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe now so that you will receive the everyday updates. Now we will see the first the development of the placenta, then the structure of the placenta, then the abnormalities in the formation of the placenta. Human placenta develops from two sources, fetal component and also maternal component. There are two components in the development of the human placenta. Fetal component is from the chorion frondosome and maternal component from the decidua basalis. So by this time you should know decidua and chorion, then only you can understand the development of the placenta. So this picture shows the development of the bilaminar germ disc and also the two cavities, amniotic cavity and the yolk sac and the connecting stalk. And this in the B image, there is the foldings of the embryo, head folding and tail foldings. Yolk sac is indrawn, and this is the chorionic villi development, and this is the continuation of the chorionic villi development. In the chorionic villi, only adjacent to the decidua basalis, this villi persists. So the remaining parts will be called as chorion levae, and the persisting parts will be called as the chorion frondosome. So you should know by this time what is chorion. Chorion is this extraembryonic mesoderm and the trophoblast together will be called as the chorion. So here you can see extraembryonic mesoderm and the trophoblast together will be called as chorion. So the villi projecting from the chorion will be called as the chorionic villi. So this chorionic villi persist in the other parts adjacent to the decidua basalis only persist, that will be called as chorion frondosome. The remaining parts will be called as chorion levae. Here this decidua is not given in this image. We will see in the next image. So this is the second week of development of the human embryo. You can see the two-layered germ disc, epiblast and the hypoblast, tall columnar cells, epiblast, and the flat cells, hypoblast. Still the cavities have not formed properly, amniotic cavity and the yolk sac has not formed in this. The trophoblasts have formed. So the trophoblast, this is the cytotrophoblast and this is the syncytiotrophoblast. This is the endometrium of the uterus. So adjacent to the implanted embryo, this endometrium will be called as decidua basalis. So decidua means the changes in the endometrium. So it is adjacent to this implanted part. This will be called as decidua basalis. So now you should know this is decidua basalis. Here the trophoblast have formed, extraembryonic mesoderm have not formed. When it is formed, it will be called chorion. So these together with this chorion and the decidua basalis will be forming the human placenta. So this is the changes in the trophoblast when the blastocyst is embedded. So this is the blastocyst cavity embedded in the endometrial wall of the uterus. The endometrium is changed into decidua due to the decidual reaction of the stroma cells. The decidua consists of decidua basalis, capsularis, and parietalis. Basalis is situated at the decidua basalis is situated at the embryonic pole of the blastocyst. So this is the embryonic pole. So this is the decidua basalis. The capsularis envelops the rest of the blastocyst and the parietalis lines the uterine cavity. The syncytial trophoblast proliferates into multi-layered and multinucleated protoplasmic mass, and this is advancing towards the decidua basalis. Meanwhile, the cytotrophoblast differentiate into an then this is the inner layer of primary mesoderm or extraembryonic mesoderm. So this trophoblast together with this extraembryonic mesoderm will be called as the chorion. So that is the definition of the chorion. Now a number of lacunar spaces appear in the syncytial trophoblast around the entire chorionic wall, but more towards the decidua basalis. So this more so towards the decidua basalis, number of lacunar spaces form. Each lacunar spaces communicates with the adjacent one around the cards of the syncytial cells. So this in between this will be called as trabeculae. So in between this lacunar spaces, these cards of syncytial trophoblast will be called as trabeculae. So these lacuna are enlarges so that they will reach the uterine blood vessels, arteries and veins. Then, so this trophoblast further differentiate, invades the maternal tissue, breaks the maternal capillaries, so that this trophoblastic lacunae are now filled with the maternal blood. So this is the beginning of the uteroplacental circulation. So the trabeculae will be now called as the primary chorionic villi or primary stem villi, with a central core of cytotrophoblast and a peripheral cells of syncytial trophoblast. At this time, this lacunae will be called as the intervillous spaces. Further changes in the trophoblast will be converting the primary villi into the secondary villi and the tertiary villi. So this is the secondary villus. In this, a core of extraembryonic mesoderm. So from primary villi is a core of syncytial trophoblast, a core of cytotrophoblast in the syncytial trophoblast. When it is invaded by this extraembryonic mesoderm, then it will be called as secondary chorionic villi. When this fetal blood capillaries invade this extraembryonic mesoderm, then it will be called as the tertiary chorionic villi. So now this side will be the layers of the fetal tissue and this side will be the layers of the maternal tissue. This together, these two parts are going to form the human placenta. So this is the developing from the decidua basalis and this is from the chorion frondosum. Human placenta consists of chorionic plate on the basal side and basal plate on the maternal side. So this develops from chorion, so it has been given the name chorionic plate. It is developing from the decidua basalis, it has been given the name basal plate on the maternal side. In between these two plates, stem villi will be extending between the two plates. And in between the stem villi, intervillous spaces filled with maternal blood. Now we will see the details of the chorionic plate. So this side is the chorionic plate, it has been labeled. So what are the layers of the chorionic plate? From inner to, otherwise from fetal to maternal side we will see. Fetal to maternal side, primary mesoderm or extraembryonic mesoderm. So this is the first layer. Second layer is the cytotrophoblast, and third layer is the syncytial trophoblast. So this is the fetal to the mother side, these three layers. Now we will see the basal plate. So basal plate is this side. Basal plate consists of mother to fetal side, stratum spongiosum of the decidua basalis. So the layer of decidua basalis is the stratum spongiosum of the decidua basalis. Outer layer of syncytial trophoblast, that is called Nitabusch layer. Outer shell of cytotrophoblast. So in this cytotrophoblast invades, and so that it will be forming two layers. It will be forming in between this syncytiotrophoblast, so that this syncytiotrophoblast will be called as outer layer and inner layer. So here is the outer layer of syncytiotrophoblast. Then you have to think it is invading into this layer. Then this will be called outer shell of cytotrophoblast. Then will be the inner layer of syncytiotrophoblast. So if you see the types of the villi, stem villi is connecting the chorionic and the basal plates. So we have now only seen there are development of primary villi, secondary villi and tertiary villi. So these are the developmental stages of the stem villi. And intervillous space is lined internally on all sides by the syncytiotrophoblast, and it is filled with maternal blood. So apart from the stem villi, numerous branch villi arise from the stem villi. They project into this space, so that this branching villi or terminal villi are the functional units of the placenta. So this is the diagrammatic diagram. This is the chorionic plate. So this side is the chorionic plate and this is the decidual plate. In between these two plates, stem villi, and extending from the stem villi or the free villi or the floating villi, branching villi. So in between the stem villi is this intervillous space. It is lined on all sides by the syncytiotrophoblast. So this branching villi is the functional unit of the human placenta. If you see the basal plate, this is the basal plate. It is perforated by the spiral branches of the uterine arteries, and numerous placental septum project from the basal plate into the intervillous space. So this is one septum. So this is one septum, placental septum or decidual septum. They don't reach the entire intervillous space, so that these areas between the two adjacent placental septum will be called as the cotyledons, maternal cotyledons. When we tell these maternal cotyledons, there are some fetal cotyledons also. A major stem villus and the vessels derived from it will be called as fetal cotyledons. So you should know the two terms, maternal cotyledons and the fetal cotyledons. So this is that we have explained now. Numerous placental septum extend from the basal plate. The areas between the adjacent placental septa are known as the maternal cotyledons. So in the each cotyledon there is a one or more stem villi. So this is the diagrammatic representation of the decidual plate and the chorionic plate. This is the stem villus, this is the intervillus space. From the stem villi, other name is the anchoring villi. From the stem villi, free villi or floating villi. They are floating in the intervillus space, blood of the intervillus space, which is the maternal blood. What is fetal cotyledon is derived from one major primary stem villus, that is called fetal cotyledon. About 60 to 100 fetal cotyledons are present in the human full-term placenta. Then what is maternal cotyledon is about 15 to 20, contains 3 to 5 fetal cotyledons. The early part of the pregnancy, about 800 to 1000 stem villi radiate from the entire chorionic villi. But later, with the regression of the chorionic levee, only 60 stem villi persist in the human placenta. So that is the fetal cotyledon and the maternal cotyledon. What is placental barrier or membrane? what are the parts or what are the layers which separate the maternal and fetal blood will be called as placental membrane or barrier. It is very thin, 0.025 millimeter thick. Only two layers in the full term placenta separate the maternal blood and the fetal blood. They are the endothelium of the fetal capillaries resting on the basement membrane and the syncytial trophoblast which presents the numerous microvilli. Altogether, this placental membrane is 14 square meters at full term functioning in the human placenta. So this 0.025 millimeter thick, you should remember this may be asked in the PG entrance MCQs. So now the structure of the human placenta is discoid in shape, deciduate. Deciduate means which is shed off after the delivery of the fetus. Hemochorial is according to the type of the human placental barrier, and its type is villus type of labyrinthine organ. So the structure of the human placenta you should note here for the when the placenta is given for you in the gross anatomy practical exams. So that is fleshy and it's about 500 grams and it's of diameter 15 to 20 centimeter, 3 centimeter in thickness, spongy to feed. It has two surfaces, maternal and fetal. So this is the fetal surface. You have to identify the placenta, fetal surface and maternal surface. This fetal surface is covered by smooth and glistening amnion. Umbilical cord is attached at or near its center. Branches of the umbilical vessels will be beneath the amnion. So that surface is the fetal surface. Maternal surface is rough and spongy. It will be having 15 to 30 cotyledons limited by the fissures or septum. So this is the maternal surface. How to differentiate the two surfaces in the gross anatomy of the placenta. So placenta, this is the fetal surface and this is the maternal surface. Peripheral margin of the placenta, it has two surfaces and one margin which is continuous with the fetal membrane. This fetal membrane is consisting from outside inwards of fused decidua parietalis and capsularis, chorion levae and amnion. So this is what we are telling. So this is the full term fetus. So this is the full term human placenta consisting of maternal surface and fetal surface. This is the peripheral margin. So it is continuous with the fetal membranes, that is consisting of decidua capsularis. So this is capsularis. So this part of the uterine endometrium will be called as capsularis and this part will be called as basalis. So it is made of decidua capsularis and decidua parietalis and also the chorion levae. So which is this part which is not having the chorion will be called chorion levae and the amnion. These are the fetal membranes. Classification of placenta or abnormalities of the placenta. We have completed the development of the human placenta from two sources. The fetal part from the chorion frondosum and maternal part from the decidua basalis. According to the attachment of the umbilical cord, it is battledore placenta or filamentous placenta. So battledore placenta or filamentous placenta are the abnormalities according to the attachment. Battledore means when the umbilical cord is attached close to the margin of the placenta. Filamentous placenta, when this cord fails to reach the placenta attached to the fetal membrane, that is called filamentous. So this is the filamentous placenta. It is attached to the fetal membranes only. Only the umbilical vessels are reaching the placenta. According to the site of implantation, usually the implanted embryo is in the upper part of the uterus. If it is in the lower part of the uterus, placenta extends to the lower uterine segment, then it is called placenta previa. This placenta previa produces antenatal hemorrhage. Before the delivery of the fetus, hemorrhage, that is called antenatal hemorrhage. Then accessory placenta, sometimes accessory lobe of the placenta is connected to the main mass by the fetal membrane. According to the degree of adhesion or penetration into the layers of the uterus, then it is called placenta accreta, increta, and placenta percreta. So when it is adhered pathologically to the decidua basalis, then it is called accreta. So it is limited to only endometrium, then that is accreta. Increta is when the placenta penetrates the myometrium, then that is called increta. Percreta is, it is penetrating the entire uterine wall, then it is called percreta. So when we encounter these types of the placenta, so it will be a big problem after the delivery of the fetus to deliver the placenta. So this is the accreta limited to endometrium. Increta is myometrium, percreta is entire uterine wall. According to the shape of the placenta, lobed placenta, it may exhibit two or more lobes. Placenta membranacea, it is diffuse and thin. Chorionic villi project from the entire blastocyst cavity. Circumvallate placenta is the peripheral margin of the placenta is surrounded by a sulcus, so that overlapped by a circular fold of placenta. So this is the circumvallate placenta. Same like you have learnt in the circumvallate papillae. Whenever it is having a sulcus surrounded by a circular elevation, then it will be called as circumvallate. According to the distribution of umbilical arteries, dispersed type and magistral type. Dispersed type is the umbilical arteries divide in the dichomatous manner and undergo successive reduction in the caliber. Magistral type is arteries maintain almost the uniform caliber up to the periphery of the placenta and gives off a number of smaller side branches. According to the type of the placental barrier, the placenta may be classified as follows: epitheliochorial, syndesmochorial, endotheliochorial, hemochorial, and hemoendothelial. Epitheliochorial is present in the pigs, syndesmochorial in the bovine, endothelial chorial in the dogs, hemochorial in the humans, hemoendothelial in the rabbits. So this is the epitheliochorial. So what tissues separate the fetal blood and maternal blood? That is the term this epitheliochorial is derived. So this is maternal side and this is fetal side. So epithelium of the uterine endometrium remains intact. So that is why it is called epitheliochorial. This is present in the pigs. Endotheliochorial is the uterine epithelium is not present, so that this chorion is separated only by the endometrium of the maternal blood vessel. So this is the endometrium of the maternal blood vessel, and this is the fetal blood vessel and the extraembryonic mesoderm. So together will be the chorion. Here, so this endotheliochorial is present in the bovine. So this is the human hemochorial. So this endotheliochorial is present in the, so we have completed this epitheliochorial. Syndesmochorial is not given in this. Endotheliochorial is present in the dogs. This hemochorial is the human. Here this endothelium is also lost. Only blood is free in this maternal intervillous spaces, and this is the chorial. So the advanced type of the human placenta is the present in the rabbits, that is the hemoendothelial. The trophoblastic cells of the chorion degenerate so that only endothelium of the fetal vessels intervene between the maternal and the fetal blood. So that is about the development of the human placenta. We have seen in elaborate about the development and also the structure of the human placenta, abnormalities of the human placenta. As this is the important topic in the anatomy practical exam, histology, embryology. So we have covered the topic in very detail. This human placenta, mainly the description of the human placenta is also important. Discoid, deciduate, hemochorial, and the villus type of the labyrinthine organ. So this completes this topic. We will see in the next embryology topic. Those who have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe now so that you will receive the everyday updates.